Ashley to start. Rogers and Prangy. Tennessee and Bama for the 5th time this year. The World Series is underway with a strike at 11:07 in the morning on this fantastic Thursday, the 1st of June, here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And it's Prangy, the Tide's best hitter by nearly every major metric, to take one a little bit down and out. Plate umpire Don Brown today calling balls and strikes as Prangy meets Rogers. An All-American as named yesterday for the Tennessee Lady Vols. That's inside for ball 2. Ashley Rogers, first team All-American, a top 10 Player of the Year finalist, a graduate student from Athens who has dealt with injuries in her career and has overcome that adversity to lead Tennessee to the World Series for the first time since 2015.
And going against a team that knows her well right out the gate here in Oklahoma City. Ashley Rogers is a pitcher who struggled with injury all throughout her career. She has just battled to be healthy, to be able to practice, to be able to show up on game day and feel good. And this year has probably been the healthiest year that Ashley Rogers has had in her career, and I think her numbers show it.
2-2 for Prangy, who will drive one out of play. Ashley Prangy began her career at Ohio State. Said she almost stepped away from softball a couple of years ago. She had lost her joy for the sport, entered the transfer portal instead, and now she's Bama's best hitter. Prangy fouls another one away on the pull side. This Alabama team will pull a whole lot of balls. Right-handed batters, 6 of the first 7. 3 lefties in the lineup against the right-hander Ashley Rogers. Jenna Johnson waiting. First to 7th pitch to Prangy. And Prangy pulls another one. They're getting a little bit closer to fair territory here.
Yeah, when you look at the at-bats of Ashley Prangy against Ashley Rogers, it's a lot to the pull side. Flyouts to left field, groundouts to third base, groundouts to shortstop. 0-5 against Ashley Rogers in her career.
Having a fantastic tournament. She takes an off-speed pitch away and runs the count full. The tone being set from the start, the first batter of this World Series, as Ashley Prangy works Ashley Rogers to, at minimum, a 9th pitch. And Prangy will blast it into the upper deck again.
Always a good sign if you're in that Alabama dugout, and they love having Ashley Prangy as their leadoff hitter. Some pop at the top, ability to get on base.
Just moved her there the last couple of games. Flip-flop Prangy and Jenna Johnson. 10th pitch. That's down and in for ball 4. The World Series begins with a 10-pitch walk for Alabama's Ashley Prangy.
What a great at bat by Ashley Prangy to foul off some pitches. Ashley Rogers is going to be able to work a rise ball up out of the zone and a curveball on both sides of the plate. That last pitch, her backdoor curve, and then a regular curve. She's very comfortable with that pitch on both sides of the plate, and she will mix in a changeup, a 3-pitch mix that Ashley Rogers likes to throw with that rise, curve, and changeup.
2 earned runs last 28 1/3. Those were both against Texas in a Game 1 win in the Super Regionals. A strike here to Jenna Johnson, the Alabama 2-hitter. Johnson is often a sacrifice bunter in these situations, leading the team with 6 sac bunts. Didn't show there. Tennessee ready if needed. But Johnson will swing away and drive one into right center field for a hit. Prangy's going to go first to third, and what a start for Alabama. Off the All-American Rogers, a walk for Prangy, a hit for Johnson, and they are at the corners instantly.
We just got done talking about Ashley Rogers and what she likes to throw. She loves to go to this outside curveball against right-handed hitters, and so Johnson looks for it. This one about a ball on the plate, and Jenna Johnson just driving it to the opposite side of the field. These first 2 at-bats for Alabama have been so good off Rogers.
And now Bailey Dowling. That's down and in. Ball one to the Alabama designated player, and that will draw Julia Koutsianopoulos out to the circle for an early meeting. We have a lot of statistics for you. We don't have a statistic on how often Tennessee needs to make a meeting in the first 13 pitches of Ashley Rogers' outing. I'm guessing it's about 0 or 1.
Yeah, especially with the way that she's pitched this year.
Here's what she's done against the Tide this season. 4 earned, 12 2/3. Allowed 3 runs against them March the 26th. Not a lot, but think about this. Ashley Rogers allowed 3 runs in that one game against Alabama and has allowed no more than 2 runs in any other game this season. So they are the team that in a particular game got to her the best. And Tennessee's going to make a visit now. That drops to 0-85 with runners in scoring position. After the couple of meetings, good location there for a strike to Dowling.
Yeah, that's something that I noticed looking back at her numbers last year, where you can see the improvement is that batting average against with runners in scoring position. Last year was 167, this year below 100. She's gotten better in all parts of her game this year, feeling healthy.
Dowling flares one to the left side. Mackenzie Donahue, the shortstop, is there, and Rogers has the first out without any advancement.
It's a big out right there against Dowling, who has hit 3 home runs off of Ashley Rogers in her career.
Now batting for Alabama, catcher, number 34, Allie Shipman.
And now Allie Shipman, who said it's not that big of a deal to face her old team. Saying it is one thing, facing them on the game's biggest stage may entirely be another. Shipman, a very aggressive hitter, knocks the first pitch foul. Her first 3 years at Tennessee, the same school as her sister and our studio colleague Madison Shipman, who had some extraordinary moments on this field. Allie transferred in conference from Tennessee to Alabama before the start of last season. Her second year with the Crimson Tide, her final season in college. Shipman takes a rise ball high, 1-1. And she's had one heck of an NCAA tournament this year in Tuscaloosa. RBIs in 4 of the 7 tournament games. A 2-run single in that decisive super regional game against Northwestern. One big hit after another. And Shipman drills one foul here.
Notice that ever since Jenna Johnson had that single toward the right side, they've been going inside to these right-handed hitters, trying to jam them up like she did with Bailey Dowling, and then inside to Shipman there. Changing up the game plan after that timeout with their pitching coach.
Shipman, a very good contact hitter. Will take one way, way out of the zone. Shipman pops it up on the infield again. That's Boo Gibson from first. And after a first and third, nobody out situation, brought a couple of Tennessee folks out to the circle. Rogers has induced a pair of pop-outs.
Something I always pay attention to is how the pitcher responds after a timeout when the coach comes out and talks to her. Great rebound from Ashley Rogers after a tough 2 hitters that she faced.
The freshman Kenley Cahalan swings through a high one. The first swing and miss of the game induced by Rogers. For the shortstop out of Trussville, Alabama. Terrific freshman year, but a tough second half. Cahalan shows bunt. Johnson's on the move, and Koutsianopoulos will not throw as Jenna Johnson takes an uncontested steal of second. But the pitch was a strike to Cahalan. Kenley Cahalan reclassified into college this year. But the #1 player perhaps in her class moved up. She should be a high school senior. And Cahalan puts one in the air to Kiki Malloy in center. How about that escape by Ashley Rogers? Between All-Americans in Malloy and Gibson, with Donahue and Koutsianopoulos providing some World Series experience lower in the lineup. For Alabama, Jayla Torrance was an afterthought. Buried deep in the bullpen, a late game reliever, a middle reliever at times. She didn't make a start in 2 months, and then in the postseason, she stepped up with the injury to Montana Fouts, and she has led the Tide to OKC.
She has just steadily improved in her career at Alabama, and this season specifically, throwing 66 to 68 miles an hour. She'll work that curveball to both sides of the plate, backdoor, and just a regular curve, and she will mix in her changeup. A lot of confidence in both of those pitches.
Better be careful right from the get-go, though. Kiki Malloy, who takes aim and took a big hack at strike one. A senior from Woodinville, Washington, Kiki Malloy. Decorated family, her father lawyer and NFL star, decorated athlete in her own right. One of the best players in the country. The 3 finalists for National Player of the Year were all eliminated before the World Series. Skylar Wallace of Florida, Maya Brady of UCLA, Valerie Cagle of Clemson. A lot of folks thought Kiki Malloy should have been in that top 3. And she may be the best player remaining here at the World Series. Malloy chases one high, and a swinging strike for Torrance, 1-2.
Yeah, I 100% think that Kiki Malloy should have been a top 3 finalist for National Player of the Year. I just can't believe it. What a year that she has had with stolen bases, power, her leadership.
This is a Tennessee team led by Malloy, the nation's home run leader. They are second in the nation in runs scored per game, only behind Oklahoma at 7.1 runs per game. Malloy with 7 leadoff home runs this season to lead the nation. It's also 11th in the country in stolen bases.
A little confusion there on the pitch call for what Allie Shipman thought that was going to be, and that ended up being a changeup, so didn't look like they were on the same page there.
Torrance is 2-2. Long at-bats from leadoff hitters, already a theme here in game 1. Malloy, one of only 2 seniors in this lineup for Tennessee. A loaded roster with faces old and young. They had not made it to the World Series since 2015. It is the 8th World Series appearance for Tennessee, which has been a runner-up a couple of times. 2007, 2013 under Karen Weekly, here in her 22nd year as head coach. On 3-2, Torrance strikes out Malloy. And the nation's home run leader is set down by one of the nation's emerging pitching stars.
Jayla Torrance goes back to this curveball, has a little bit of upspin to it as well. She gets Kiki Malloy to swing and miss through that pitch. A comfortable start in the circle here in Oklahoma City for Torrance.
An 8-pitch strikeout, and here's Zeta Pooney to take a first pitch strike at 70 miles per hour. Pooney's been here before a couple of years ago as a freshman with Oklahoma, though she was only a part-time player. Her 2nd year as a Lady Vol. And Pooney drives one into left field. Jenna Johnson got a good jump and took it away for out number 2. Well, Montana Fouts left in the SEC tournament with that hyperextended knee. It was reasonable to think that Alabama's World Series dreams were over. Not that there wasn't talent on the staff, because they didn't pitch. Montana Fouts threw a ridiculous number of innings this year. Look at Jayla Torrance, 30 innings in the NCAA tournament, 62 the rest of the year. In SEC play, Jayla Torrance threw 19 innings in 24 games. In the NCAA tournament, she's thrown 30 innings. 61% of Alabama's innings in the NCAA tournament after throwing 11% of their innings in conference play. Working on McKenna Gibson here.
And has had all the confidence in the world from her teammates, from Coach Murphy. We had a chance to sit down and talk to Jayla Torrance and Montana Fouts right at the same time, and you could tell that Montana Fouts just has so much respect for Torrance and the work that she's put in her career and just what she's done in the postseason.
Right. We got to sit down with both Montana and Jayla yesterday as Montana starts to get a little bit loose. Montana told us, I have had a front row seat to Jayla Torrance's whole college career. Nobody has outlifted her since freshman year. One of their hardest workers. Montana said she just needed to figure out what she could do because we knew what she could do. Two for Gibson.
Dead ball.
Up and in. Got the elbow of Gibson and a hit batter. McKenna Gibson is Tennessee's first base runner on a hit by pitch.
And Jayla Torrance goes to this rise ball up and in and hits Gibson right there on the elbow guard.
Now batting for Tennessee, left fielder number 5, Riley West.
16th time Gibson has been hit this season. Here's Riley West. West, one of the real unsung leaders on this team. She's batted everywhere from 2nd through 8th this season. On base of 376.
Right.
Statistically speaking, there's a real drop-off after the top 3 in the Tennessee lineup. But in the postseason, we have seen production all throughout the order for the Lady Vols. Outscored their opponents 42-6, 5-0 in the tournament so far.
Right.
Strike 2.
We talk a lot about Kiki Malloy and Zeta Pooney and Boo Gibson at the top, but this really is a complete offense for Tennessee with power and speed both.
A chopper to shortstop. The freshman Cahalan will take it. Torrance matches Rogers with a first inning 0 in game 1 of the World Series. Awesome, awesome story, Courtney. And Ashley Prangy and this Alabama team have proven themselves to be wonderful role models, rallying around Madeline and her cause. And they are some pretty sweet cleats, too, that Ashley Prangy was able to help develop. So here is this Alabama team, 45-20. Only 14-10 in the SEC. The 5 seed in the SEC. They get the 5 seed nationally. And they are in the World Series for the 14th time. 27 Division I seasons. Emma Broadfoot, number 6 hitter, starts the inning against Ashley Rogers. Callie Heblin, Larissa Pruitt will follow. Broadfoot, first year with a Tide after transferring from North Alabama. She's been their regular first baseman starter this year. Ashley Rogers walked the first, allowed a hit to the next hitter in the first inning. 2 pop-outs and a fly-out after that. Trying to make it through the season healthy. They've limited her workload a little bit during the week to try to help with that.
Ball.
Yeah, and to the point where earlier this season she would pitch in a series and then throw one bullpen before the next series. But then at some point this season, they also changed that to just take away bullpens at all, so that she's just basically pitching in games at this point.
That's punts to short. Donahue coming on for the first out of the second.
And I had to know when we had a chance to talk to her yesterday, what is that like for you? Because I think that as a former pitcher myself and talking to all these pitchers who are pitching on this stage, we're just so used to that idea of perfectionism and pitching every day and trying to get it right and trying to get it perfect. So to go from that mindset to not pitching in practice at all.
Into right from Callie Hevlin. And playable for the right fielder, Katie Taylor, 2 down.
But it's a big change. But I liked how she told us, Kevin, you know, I trust in my preparation. I know I'm not going to lose everything overnight. It's that mindset of just having no doubt in that preparation, or as Karen Weekly said, the hay's in the barn already.
Strike 2, Larissa Pruitt. Rogers told us, look, I'd love to go throw 500 pitches after the game if something's not working and fix it. It's just not the state that she's in or they're in her 5th year. But the work's been done, and the work's been done well this season. The 2nd best earned run average in the nation, a first-team All-American pick. 5th in the country in strikeouts, and looking for her first today against the freshman Pruitt.
Well, and I think a big change for Ashley Rogers is not only how and when she's practiced and just taking some pitch count off of her, but it's this deep pitching staff that Tennessee put together this year with the transfers and freshmen that they had come in to make a pitching staff built around her. She is the ace. She's the first-team All-American, but Peyton Gottschall, a transfer, and Carlin Pickens has just added depth to this staff that's helped out her health.
A strikeout of Pruitt ends the inning, the first strikeout of the game. But we do expect to see at some point in this game. Fouts pitched in all 3 games of the Super Regional against Northwestern. An All-American this season for the 4th time. Jayla Torrance also pitched in all 3 games of the Super Regional for Alabama. It was Torrance starting the last 2 games after coming on in relief of Fouts in Game 1. As Alabama won games 2 and 3 against Northwestern to make it back to OKC. Mackenzie Donahue with an 0-2 count. The Tennessee 5-hitter leads off the Vols in the 2nd. We have seen this young woman on this field before, just in different colors. Oklahoma, a big part of their national championship run in 2021. And Donahue smokes the ball to second, grabbed by Callie Hevlin, who makes the play from her knees.
A player with Women's College World Series experience and a hard hit, her first at bat, just right at Hevlin, or just had to move a little bit. That ball got to her so quick that she pretty much just stayed right where she was at. Donahue went with this curveball. Hevlin, couple of steps to her right, making the throw from her knees for always an important first out of the inning.
Jamison Brockenbrough out of play for the Tennessee designated player. Brockenbrough, one of 2 freshmen in the lineup for Tennessee. If you don't know how to pronounce her last name, just listen to the chant.
Yeah.
It's I Love Brockenbrough to the tune of I Love Rock and Roll.
I got so excited when I heard it. I'm not going to lie. We heard about it yesterday and then immediately heard it in the headset. And I'm like, yes, there it is.
That's out of play for strike 2. There is the Tennessee contingent. Made the trip up from Knoxville. Hosts in both the regionals and super regional rounds. Beat Northern Kentucky once, Indiana twice in the regionals, combined 28-4. And swept Texas 5-2 and 9-0 in the supers. 2-2 for Brockenbrough. Freshman from Locust Grove, Georgia, Brockenbrough. Well, strikeout swinging. Heated up Jayla Torrance has a couple of early Ks.
And I'll tell you what, this curveball is moving early in this game. Enough to the point where look at where this ended up, more toward right down the heart of the plate, and she still got a swing and a miss because of that late break. A big swing by Brockenbrough. Second out for Torrance.
Strike one to Julia Koutsianopoulos. Another transfer who's been on a World Series team. Koutsianopoulos played at Arizona. Was a center fielder there, converted to Tennessee's catcher this season because Kiki Malloy in center field, one of the best in the country. And Koutsianopoulos has been a steady presence behind the plate. Has started 56 of Tennessee's 58 games at catcher. Ashley Rogers telling her, telling us you would never know she hadn't caught. She has such high standards. She will get them pitches.
And she has really good glove work and really good hands. You saw that whenever she was a defender at Arizona right away too, just as a freshman. It stood out to me at least. And put her behind the plate. It was a challenge at first. It wasn't easy, almost to the point where Karen Weekly was thinking, I don't know if this is going to work. And Julia Koutsianopoulos was like, no, I can make it work. I want to be back behind the plate and do this.
Chase one away, 2-2. Torrance looking for a 1-2-3 second, and she doesn't quite have it. Three and two coming. A tapper wide of Torrance, the third baseman Prangy with a bobble. And she had no play in the end because of the bobble. Koutsianopoulos aboard for Tennessee with two down.
The reaction by G, as they call her, at first base, just finding a way to get on. But this is a play that Ashley Prangy needs to make all day, every day. Just a soft roller to her and just gets ahead of herself. You could tell that she was picking her head up to throw to first base before she even had the ball. Only the fourth error in the NCAA tournament for Alabama. Their defense has been strong.
Oh, I have bad news for you. It's fouled away by Destiny Rodriguez. It's not the fourth error of the NCAA tournament. It's ruled an infield single.
I'm not erasing that. And I know that that will come back to haunt me a little bit later, but I'm at least going to let it sit there for just an inning more to see if it's going to get changed.
I'm with you. There's a line drawn to first. The rest we'll wait and see. Here's Destiny Rodriguez to take one down and away.
And I've had specific conversations actually with Karen Weekly herself about this exact issue, and I think that she would even call that an error and not a hit.
Ordinary effort? I think so. Prangy fields that ball. She's going to get the out at first. Either way, runner aboard for Rodriguez, who takes strike two.
Just one more on that. When I start out the replay, not even knowing what the call is, but saying this is a play that she makes all day, every day, I think that that would be an ordinary play. That would be an error.
You'll be the guest speaker at the softball official scores seminar next year if there's justice in the softball universe.
Madison Shipman and I both will.
Ball.
No, we certainly would be happy to extend any invitation to Maddie. Who is here with us today, somewhere around here. Former Lady Vol, sister of the woman behind the plate, Allie Shipman. A 2-2 for Rodriguez. Is put in play or put out of play to the right side. For Destiny Rodriguez, who is playing with Lair Boutte still out for Tennessee. Lady Vols were hoping they would have Boutte back for this tournament. They're still hoping they will have her. Sustained a concussion recently. and is not available for game 1. Rodriguez muscles one into center field for a 2-out hit. Kristen White's throw will come into second. Koutsinopoulos goes first to third. And Destiny Rodriguez continues to fulfill her fill-in role here in the postseason.
The bottom of the order in the postseason for Tennessee has stepped up big, and this is no different. Destiny Rodriguez gets a pitch that she can handle. That curveball, that backdoor curveball was moving up a little bit, but she's able to get on plane with it. Aggressive base running to get G over to third base. Tennessee in business.
The 9-hitter Katie Taylor will try to bring her in, and Taylor takes one well off the plate. And Lance McMahon, the first-year Alabama pitching coach, is going to visit Jayla Torrance.
And important out here with Katie Taylor up to bat, the 9-hole, because you're thinking about who's on deck. Well, it's Kiki Malloy. You definitely don't want to get to a point in this inning that you have to face her.
And it's not an easy out. Katie Taylor's had a very good NCAA tournament. This bottom of the order, as you mentioned, for Tennessee has had an excellent NCAA tournament. The 6 through 9 batters for the Lady Vols, 302. They've driven in 12 of Tennessee's 42 runs.
Karen Weekly told us this is a team that has the ability to hit 1 through 9. When we're talking about Tennessee as a complete team, you have to have that depth in your offense. You have to have that depth in the circle and on defense. And we think about Tennessee all year. We've talked about them being a complete team, and their numbers show it.
They're a very good 2-out hitting team as well. Back-to-back 2-out hits here, and a 1-0 count on Katie Taylor. Last time these teams met at the SEC tournament, Tennessee won 7-6. All 7 of the runs for Tennessee in that game, and all 14 of the runs they scored at the SEC tournament total came with 2 outs.
What a stat there. That's a great one.
I take no credit. 2-0. Strike 1 to Taylor. Regular starter this season, the sophomore out in right field. So a primary pinch runner, did not get to start a season ago. Three and 1. What are you seeing right now from Jayla?
I think that I'm just seeing Tennessee be more patient, and I'm seeing that they're letting that pitch that has a little bit of upspin to it ride out of the zone, making her come more on the plate.
Taylor in the air to right center field, sending White back, and this ball's over her head. 1 run is in. Rodriguez waved around. She is safe. And the bottom of the order delivers again for Tennessee. Taylor with a 2-run, 2-base hit in the second. The Lady Vols, the first team to strike at the World Series.
Saw Jayla Torrance miss more over the middle of the plate earlier on in this game, and Tennessee was just not attacking it. They were taking those pitches, and now Katie Taylor steps up and she handles that pitch. A mistake on the outside corner. Jayla Torrance had to come more on the plate because Kiki Malloy is on deck. She has to throw a strike in that situation, and Katie Taylor made her pay for it.
And she's not going to be throwing a strike here, as Alabama will put Malloy on intentionally. What a tournament for Taylor. 5 for 12, couple of walks, hit by a pitch. She's been on base more than half the time. And you go back to the SEC tournament, including the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. Tennessee has now scored 58 runs in the postseason. 36 of those have come with 2 outs.
Just think about how this inning started, and this is why in the postseason every pitch matters. every play matters, but Ashley Prangy committing what I consider to be an error on that weak ground ball to her. Alabama should have been out of the inning.
37 should say, but well over 60% of the runs scored with 2 out. And now Zeta Pooney, who's hit 5 home runs in the NCAA tournament. And Pooney blasts off to center. White was already deep, and it's off for a glove. She crashes into the fence. 2 more runs score on a big bop from Zeta Pooney. 4-0 Lady Vols.
You intentionally walk Kiki Malloy to get to Zeta Pooney, and you can't tell me she did not take that personally. Zeta Pooney looks early in the count and hits this off-speed pitch. Just nails it, is on time with it. That pitch is just left more up in the zone, and I really believed Kristen White was going to make this catch. Instead, it hits off of her glove. She had a chance to end the inning again for Alabama. It would have been an unbelievable play, but Tennessee capitalizes.
Pooney with her 7th extra base hit of the tournament in 6 games. 13 RBIs now in the NCAAs for Zeta Pooney. What a hitter. Boo Gibson.
Ball.
We talked to Karen Weekly about Zeta Pooney yesterday, who played part-time in Oklahoma in 2021, came to Tennessee, had a previous connection with Karen Weekly, and Karen told us, I think Zeta could be the most fearsome hitter in the country.
Right.
1-2 for Gibson. Told us that Zeta just hasn't had the time. Injuries have prevented her from practicing all the time. She said if she can put in the time Kiki Malloy can, she will be just as special.
Tennessee is just getting some better swings off at this point. And that's how the postseason is, Kevin. You just open the door a little bit for a good team, and they just come busting through. That's exactly what has happened in this inning. Quick 2 outs to begin, even a strikeout for the 2nd out for Torrance, and well, Tennessee has scored 4.
Ball.
Gibson hit by a pitch her first time. Patrick Murphy in an early pickle. Got a called 3rd strike there around the outside corner, and that ends the inning.
I was trying to score first and has settled into this game.
Yeah, that 10-pitch battle with Prangy, 12 pitches to the first 2, just 24 pitches to the 6 hitters since. 5 outs in the air.
Ball.
And Kristen White, the last Crimson Tide batter to hit. Did you see anything change mechanically or anything change just in terms of location for Ashley Rogers after those first 2 hitters?
It was the pitch location to me, specifically against right-handed hitters, throwing more inside with their backdoor.
Ball.
Looked like Ashley Prangy, I mean, the way that she set the tone for Alabama in her first at bat, drew that walk, saw several pitches, kind of, I think, scared Ashley Rogers away from that inside corner because she just kept fouling it off time and time again. Went away from it. Coach comes out and talks to her, goes back to it, and gets out of the inning.
Right.
Inside here to get a strike to the freshman Kristen White. Of Phoenix City, Alabama. Had a hit in all 3 games of the Super Regionals. Nice postseason for her as a table setter for the top of the lineup. And White slaps one to the drawn-in Pooney. 1 out.
Zeta Pooney is a 3rd baseman that loves to play the hot corner. You can see how close she is to Kristen White, anticipating to bunt. Kristen White goes to a more power slap, trying to shoot it past Zeta Pooney, but quick hands over at 3rd base for Pooney, and she just is still able to make an out. That got on her so quickly.
They can defend too, these Lady Vols. Number 2 offense in the country, number 2 ERA in the country, only behind Oklahoma in both. They played very well in the field here in the NCAA tournament. So the Alabama top of the card for a second time. Ashley Prangy, a first inning walk. Trying to get the Crimson Tide back into this after the big Tennessee second. That is smoke but foul. Patrick Murphy joked with us yesterday about how his team must lead the nation in balls that hook foul down the left field line. So many long flies and close calls. Callie Hevlin had one of them against Tennessee in the regular season, nearly a grand slam. They have some right-handed hitters that can really pull the ball, which I would think makes for an interesting matchup with Rogers, as you talked about whether she should be going in or out with those pitches.
We saw all those foul balls over toward the third base side and the left field side.
Ball.
And a walk for Prangy is her second of the game. The NCAA Women's College World Series Championship Series begins in 6 days. Wednesday night, June 7th, 8 Eastern, 7 local. Here on ESPN. For more information and game times, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Tennessee trying to make it to the Champ Series for a third time. 2007 and 2013. No SEC team has made a championship series in 6 years since Florida did it. No SEC team has won a national championship in 9 years since Florida did it. 2014. Little bit of a drought given the immense depth of this league. 12 of the 13 teams made the NCAA tournament this year. These are the two from the SEC to OKC this year. Jenna Johnson to Donahue at short for out number 2.
You guys were talking about Ashley Rogers. Look, she is so competitive. I grabbed her mom, Linda, before the game and just asked about Ashley. And she said, I put her in baseball when she was 5 years old because she wanted to be like her brother. And she was so competitive that when she got out at first base, she would wail back to the dugout just in tears because she was so upset she let her team down at 5 years old.
I mean, we all wailed for reasons at 5 years old, but ours, I think, were a lot different than that. She is one heck of a competitor. We were at the SEC tournament last year when Ashley Rogers threw 13 innings in a win over Mississippi State, and she was injured and stretching out in between innings and still went the distance.
Ball.
One of the great pitching careers at a school that's had a whole lot of great pitchers.
And you think about her career and just what she's had to go through injury-wise, and has had to miss a good bit of time. And I just go back to it, but she still has had the career that she's had despite injuries.
Ball and a strike to Bailey Dowling here. Alabama's RBI leader.
Ball.
From one Tennessee great to another, one of the all-time greats, Monica Abbott. Four-time All-American who was, of course, part of that 2007 runner-up squad for Tennessee.
I think you're seeing Ashley Rogers be careful with Prangy, the home run hitter, the leading home run hitter for Alabama, and then also just being careful here to Bailey Dowling. You always know as a pitcher who's hit home runs off of you and what they've done. It's always in the back of your mind, and she's hit 3 home runs off of her in her career.
That's going to get out of play for strike 2.
I think that you're seeing too her rise ball not really be a factor for Alabama. When she's thrown it, it's been well out of the zone, or they've done a good job taking that pitch, understanding that it was just going to continue to rise up and out of the zone. And so really what she's been living on is just her backdoor curveball and her outside curveball, both sides of the plate with that pitch.
A 3-2. Dowling takes it tight. Walks in the inning for Prangy and Dowling. Alabama has a 2-out rally after that big second inning from Tennessee. And it'll be Allie Shipman with a chance to cash something in. Time called. Karen Weekly is going to head out to talk to Ashley Rogers. Kind of an interesting one. When you face your former catcher, I don't know how many former catchers you faced in your career, but what's your sense for what a matchup like this is like when you have a batter who knows so well, A, what Ashley Rogers likes to throw, and B, what Karen Weekly likes to call?
Yeah, and that was the point that I was going to make, is that Karen Weekly is actually the pitch caller for Tennessee. Megan Rhodes-Smith is the pitching coach who works with more mechanics in the bullpen, and Karen Weekly calls pitches. So you know when she goes out to talk to Ashley Rogers, it's most likely about how they want to face Allie Shipman in this at-bat. A lot of drama moments with these like home run big hitters for Alabama and facing Ashley Rogers in this inning.
Shipman takes strike one over the outside.
Remember last time that a coach came out to visit Ashley Rogers, it did indeed help her in the first inning too.
One batter after that, the Dowling pop out, then Shipman popped out to first. And Allie will take one high here. Kutsinopolis motions to settle down. Allie Shipman, her first game here at the World Series. 3 years at Tennessee, her second in Alabama. The 218th game of her brilliant career. 2-1, that's well off speed from Rogers.
You know she has to come with the strike here, so likely you're going to get a curveball. When she goes to the rise, maybe overthrew it. I don't think on a 2-1 pitch that's where she was trying to put that pitch, but again against Prangy with 16 home runs, and Dowling, who has hit 3 home runs off of Ashley Rogers, and now Shipman. There's a little bit of history there. You're seeing Ashley Rogers be more tentative and not attacking the strike zone.
She'll attack it on 3-1, and Pooney does not have a play. If you were Allie Shipman, where would you look on 3-2?
I would look back to that inside corner where she just jammed me, or I'm interested to see if Rogers goes to a changeup. Hasn't had a ton of command with it, but would be a good time to throw it.
She tried to go back inside. Shipman was ready for it, and it's off the glove of the shortstop Donahue to bring in a run. Shipman to second as Dowling slid in safely at third. Almost a brilliant play by Mackenzie Donahue, which we've seen her do on this field. Instead, the former Lady Vols singles in a run against her old team.
And I think Allie Shipman knew she was going to have to go back to this backdoor curveball, and she didn't get all of it, but she got enough of it to battle with 2 strikes with that inside pitch. Tremendous effort by Donahue, who just almost had that. It was barely out of her reach. An RBI and Alabama on the board. Shipman.
Did you also have flashes of Mackenzie Donahue racing toward the left field wall 2 years ago in an Oklahoma jersey?
Yes, if you've been watching the World Series, you've seen that before, just in a different uniform.
So Cahalan the tying run. Batters were hitting just .085 with runners in scoring position against Ashley Rogers coming into the game. And Shipman with the RBI single. A ground ball off the bag at first, and Cahalan is safe. Throw behind at third, not in time on Shipman. Now that's some nice aim. Kenley Cahalan doinks it off the sack, and Alabama's got 2. A
little bit of luck going in the way of Alabama in this inning. just off that bag, and Boo Gibson was set up to make a play there, but it hits the bag perfectly and just ends up being a pop-up over her head. Nothing you can do about that if you're Boo Gibson, but with where she was positioned back behind the first base bag, Alabama scores another run.
So runners at the corners now on an infield base hit and an RBI for the freshman Cahalan. Only her second RBI of the NCAA tournament. And here's Emma Broadfoot. Broadfoot pokes one to third, and Pooney will end the inning. The Tide are right back in it. 2 more 2-out runs. 4-2 Tennessee.
Player-led. They are a player-led team, and that was the turning point at the Kentucky series. They stepped it up and brought what they were talking about to the field, and that's really made all the difference for this Tennessee team.
Yeah, she mentioned, Court, that Kentucky series, April 14th, they had a Friday night game. They won 2-1. Karen felt like they really didn't play well. It was addressed in the post-game huddle. There's a ground ball to second base, knocked down by Hevlin from her knees. No chance to get Riley West. A leadoff base hit for Tennessee's cleanup hitter. One of the players Karen Weekly pointed to, Riley West, as being one of the unsung leaders of the team. 49-8 record for Tennessee this season. Time called before Jayla Torrance was able to throw that pitch. You've seen Tennessee for a long time now, Amanda. You've followed them. They've been a great program. They have not been able to get over the hump the last couple of years. What has stood out to you watching the jump this team's made this year?
To me, it all started in the beginning of the season of just their deep pitching staff. That's what grabbed my attention initially. And I think offensively, they've gotten better as the season has gone on. I mentioned at the top of the show how they have a new hitting coach in Chris Malveaux, who his first season was last season. And I think that you've seen the returners get more comfortable in the box working with him, building off of what they accomplished last season, as well as the transfers, the new faces on their team getting comfortable working with him as the season has gone on.
There's one of those transfers in Donahue. It's not uncommon now to have pivotal transfers, but the 2, 5, and 7 hitters in the lineup, all coming from programs with World Series experience, all World Series participants. And Pooney and Donahue, who were at Oklahoma, Cutzionopolis, Arizona. And Pooney and Cutzionopolis didn't play much, but were still part of those teams. Donahue did. And who could forget what she did in the 2021 World Series, driving in 10 for that champion Oklahoma team. 3-1 Cap Patrick Murphy is out to chat with Jayla Torrance.
Well, guys, you're talking about Tennessee's roster that has experience here at the World Series. Mackenzie Donahue was one of those players that Karen Weekly had talked to the team about what it's like to play here, the experiences, the crowd, just so that this Tennessee team had an idea of how special it was and how to handle that stage.
And she handled it quite about as well as anybody 2 years ago for Oklahoma.
You hear that a lot of former alumni passing on experiences from the Women's College World Series, what it looks like, what it feels like to players who are on the team now, whether they be freshmen who just haven't experienced it yet, or maybe it's transfers that come into a program and haven't experienced it yet either. Tennessee, though, has been lucky to bring in the people that they have who have had the experience and can talk all about it, give you all the details, so that way in your mind you've kind of visualized it, you've felt it in your body before you step on the field. Just any insight of what it's like to play on this field helps players who haven't been here before, because it can just be so intimidating to get here.
Donahue sprays another 3-2 foul.
Because when you think about it, Kevin, we're used to seeing even Alabama, who has the biggest attendance records that there are across the country. They're playing in front of 4,000 people, and that's a lot. But when you get here, you're going from 4,000 to 12 or 13,000 people that you're playing in front of. It. If you've never done it before, it can be a completely different feeling for you and thing.
Where do you typically see nerves show up in players? What do you see? What tells you that somebody's still kind of feeling out the environment?
I see it in the circle at the beginning of the game. I look to the pitcher to see how she's doing. And then I feel like it comes out more so on defense. Like the defensive errors is where I see the biggest nerves here in Oklahoma City. Mistakes, miscues.
Donahue right side. That's going to drop in between Heveland and Pruitt, and West got a great jump. She'll go to third. Donahue tries to take second, and she is out there. Back pick by Prangy for the first out of the inning. So Donahue with a hit, thrown out at second. West goes first to third, and there is one out.
Donahue battled within this at bat. We're talking about playing here at the Women's College World Series and what it's like. Her at bats have been good. Fouled off some pitches and then fouled off this inside pitch. Popped it out behind Heveland. I love that play though. Ashley Prangy thinking to play ahead. Good communication on the Alabama defense to get an out there.
And here's Brockenbrough with a drive to center. White is at the wall, and Brockenbrough puts another run on the scoreboard, baby. 6-2 Tennessee, their third two-run extra base hit of the game, and the freshman Brockenbrough hits just the second home run of her debut season. 2 1/3. Koutsianopoulos with an infield hit.
Ball.
Takes one low. Jayla Torrance pitching so well, but to state the obvious, Alabama has not seen an offense the caliber of Tennessee until the SEC tournament when they played Tennessee. And that game gave up 7. With that home run from Brockenbrough, by the way, and we're only 15 plate appearances into the game, all 9 Tennessee starters have already reached base safely.
I still go back to that bottom of the second inning. I'm sure Alabama fans are thinking the same thing, that got a quick 2 outs, had a chance to go 3 up, 3 down, and then everything broke loose for Tennessee's offense.
Popped up to first, and Broadfoot is there. Let's go back to the swing that got Alex Salter into this game.
That's that curveball that missed out over the plate, and Brockenbrough, what a beautiful swing. Kristen White has been covering a lot of ground, or trying to at least, out in center field. The way the ball has just been flying out to her.
Brockenbrough's first home run since mid-March. Homered against LSU March 19th. She homers at the World Series June 1st. 1-1 to Destiny Rodriguez.
You can tell this team just has not looked nervous at all. They've looked confident, all sides of the ball.
Destiny Rodriguez, a player who hadn't started since April 30th until she got a couple of starts against Texas. Now she's 5 for 9. So whether you're experienced or not, for Tennessee in this postseason, you're hitting. Rodriguez goes down there, and a strikeout for Salter. Bama gets 2 in the top of the third. Tennessee takes the 2 back.
to the NCAA Women's College World Series presented by Capital One. Getting set for the start of the 4th inning, and we're joined now by Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy. And Coach, we saw Alex Salter come into this game. She got a win over Tennessee in the regular season. What allowed her to be successful in that game that she needs to bring to today?
Well, they were on a 20-game winning streak at the time, and we went in there and we needed that win. It was a Saturday game, and we gave up 2 runs in the first inning, and then after that, she shut them out. Her changeup was awesome, and then the last pitch she threw that last inning was a nasty, nasty drop ball. So if those 2 pitches are working for her today, look for her to shine.
Adjustments for your hitters against Ashley Rogers?
I think we're trying to hit the inside pitch too often. It's probably a really good screwball that we're either pulling foul or we're getting jammed to the shortstop. So we need to get off the plate or just let it go.
Thanks, Murph.
All right, thanks a lot for being here.
There's our first thanks for being here at the World Series. Probably won't be the last for Patrick Murphy. There are the numbers for Ashley Rogers so far. Has only allowed more than 2 runs once this year, and it was against Alabama. So the Tide do have some success against Tennessee's ace, but they've got a little bit of a hole to dig out of at 6-2 through a 3. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough. You just heard from Courtney. First of our quadruple header today at the World Series. Coming up, number 1 Oklahoma, which will search for a 3rd consecutive national championship this year against the 9-seed Stanford, making its first appearance in 2 decades. And then Florida State, Oklahoma State, Washington, and Utah are 2 games in the nightcap. Congratulations to the Utes, who've not made it in 29 years.
It's my favorite day of the World Series, I think, because you get to see all 4 teams play in action. Just post up at home, turn your TV on ESPN, and watch softball all day.
It's our only guaranteed 4-game day, depending on what happens Monday. Could have some if necessary games. We had 2 years ago all the if necessary games of the World Series. That had never happened before. Maybe we'll be lucky enough again. Callie Hevlin with a 1-2 count.
Interested to see that OU Stanford game coming up, and can't wait to get the lineup that head coach of Stanford, Jessica Allister, is going to make up and see who is going to get the ball. Is it going to be Nyjah Kennedy, the National Freshman of the Year, or Elena Vaughter?
Into right center from Hevlin. And Taylor is there. The second ever 8 seed to reach the finals. That's popped up by Larissa Pruitt. And Donahue has out number 2. All right, you ready for this, Amanda?
Oh, boy.
Scoring decision change. You have been vindicated.
Yes.
The Julia Koutsianopoulos infield single in the 2nd is now an E5.
Guessing somebody got enough text and maybe a little pressure. I don't know. Maybe they're not on their phone at all. I have no clue, but that's what it should be, is an error.
I like to think that they are, and I like to think that we have more influence than we deserve, and that's what happened. But either way, we agree from the start it was an error, and that will take off all of those potential earned runs to Jayla Torrance's ledger. Not that it, I'm sure, makes it sting any less, but it's now 6 runs, 2 earned against Torrance in her 2 1/3 innings. Great thing about scoring decisions is you can make it and then you can change your mind later upon further review.
Which is why you keep score in pencil. I learned a long time ago, and just the mistakes that I just make on a regular basis. But
no, I'm still pen all the way.
You are.
I am.
Oh, wow. They do have the pens at Erase now. They're good ones, too.
Yeah, they do. I don't have those, though. I need like a little thin needlepoint pens. Put as much information as I can in the tiny boxes. Another pop-up. A busy day for Donahue in a 1-2-3 inning.
Joined now by Tennessee head coach Karen Weekly. And Coach, just saw you talking to Ashley Rogers. What have those conversations been like in this game?
Just asking her how she's feeling, talking about her mental process and her mental cues while she's out there. She's just giving us a gutsy performance.
Jamison Brockenbrough with her 2nd home run. I know you moved her to slapping for a little bit during the season. How did that help her?
helped her just to see the ball for a while. Felt like she was kind of getting out of the zone and not really having a good plan, and she got back on track, and when she swings loose, she's pretty exciting.
I think it was a pretty good swing on that one. Thanks, Karen.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was loose and it was long from Jamison Brockenrow. 3 two-run hits in this game, Amanda, for Tennessee.
Yeah, I love the way the bottom of the order is getting it done, the top of the order getting it done, the middle of the order. Powerful swings off the bat of Tennessee, driving mistakes and making Alabama's pitching pay for them.
Only 4 runs in the entirety of their World Series stay. The last time they were here, they've got 6 today. The second best offense in the country. There's the potential, and we're still a ways away from that, but there is the potential for a Tennessee-Oklahoma matchup. They would meet if both teams won. They would meet on Saturday on ABC. And whether they meet or not Saturday, they certainly could meet at some point this tournament. Oklahoma, the #1 scoring and pitching team in the country. Tennessee, the #2 scoring and pitching team in the country. And there is Montana Fouts talking to her starting pitcher, Jayla Torrance. Alex Salter on in relief for the Crimson Tide. And a 2-1 count to the 9-hitter Katie Taylor, with Malloy and Pooney coming up next.
We talked about that turning point for Tennessee earlier on this season, and it lost to Alabama in that game too when Salter was in the circle. They lost to Texas A&M. Easily could have lost 2 games in that series, but ended up coming away with 2 wins and winning the series, but then lost back-to-back games against Baylor. And I felt like talking to Karen Weekly after that time before their Virginia Tech game. So take it one step earlier than the Kentucky series. It was their Virginia Tech game that they had a midweek game. And it was a totally different looking team after those 2 losses to Baylor that put 11 runs on the board against Virginia Tech. And she talked about having this attack mentality. That attack mentality has stayed with this Tennessee team from that Virginia Tech game when they rebounded after back-to-back losses to now here at the Women's College World Series, and they've kept that mindset this entire time.
Taylor, the 9-hitter, down the right field line, a fair ball. That's 2 for 2 out of the 9 spot for Katie Taylor. And once again, she plays the role of table setter for Kiki Malloy. You want attack mentality. Here it is. A family that knows a thing or 2 or 20 about attack mentality. There's Kiki's dad, Lawyer Malloy. 15 years, an exceptional NFL career, notably with the New England Patriots. Played for the Washington Huskies in college. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He's a first-team All-Pro. Obviously excelled in his field, and he has been such a rock for Kiki, excelling in her field here on the softball field. Told us her conversations after the game with Dad typically have been, all right, how do you fix things? But she said, now that I've gotten older, my dad has started to join my mom and go into cheerleader mode too a little bit more. Malloy pokes one to short. Cahalan gets 1, and that's it. No chance to turn 2 on the speedy Malloy. Mom was a great athlete too. Mom Claudine was a runner at Washington and a 2-time All-American. Her older sister Amira played softball at Washington. It was a bit of a surprise that Kiki Malloy did not go to Washington, but she has found a home in Knoxville.
I thought it was fun to talk to Kiki and Zeta both yesterday, and Zeta said, I don't like to watch film at all. And we talked to Kiki about the year that she's had this year, and she's put in more time in the film room to watch opposing pitchers and get to know the scouting report a little bit more. But Zeta Pooney is like, no, don't stay away.
Yeah, the answer was literally one word. You said, do you like to watch film? She said, no. So my only question is she fast? Right? She doesn't want to know about spin. Is the pitcher fast or not? You'll figure out the rest.
Yeah. You think about how important it is to have somebody like Zeta Puni hit behind Kiki Malloy. And back when they intentionally walked her in the second inning, that's not an easy choice because of who's on deck in the year that Zeta Puni has put together. Been so hot in the postseason too.
And a 4-pitch walk to her. Puni is on for the second time. And Tennessee has 2 on, 1 out for Gibson as Lance McMahon will make another circle visit. Tennessee's going to send in a pinch runner right now for Puni. Looks like Briley Masusin is going to run here for Puni in the 4th inning. If you're just joining us for softball this season here at the World Series, quick reminder, player can be replaced and then re-enter the game. So we'll see Puni in all likelihood come back in after Masusin pinch runs here in the 4th. McKenna Gibson hit by a pitch in the 1st, struck out in the 2nd.
Ball.
Karen Weekly talked about Boo Gibson and the season that she's put together this year. She's been clutch with runners in the scoring position and just has a mindset she wants to feed off to the rest of their team.
That's into right. Pruitt charging in. That ball's going to land off the glove of Hevlin, and it kicks away into foul territory, allowing Malloy to score. The pinch runner Masusin gets to 3rd. Gibson makes it to 2nd on a pop-up that just would not get out of the air in time for Bama.
And Callie Hevlin just did not get a good read on this ball whatsoever. She took a really indirect route, thinks that she's going back further toward the outfield and that's going to be Larissa Pruitt's ball. So it's almost like she was giving way early to let Larissa Pruitt take that ball, and then they communicated, and Hevlin was trying to go at.
Continue to haunt Alabama. And Riley West will try to blow this all the way open. West swinging on the 1st pitch into left field, and Riley West has broken this game open. A 3-run blast to make it 10-2 Tennessee.
You could start to feel it in this inning, Kevin, when Tennessee started to get runners on in the middle of the lineup coming up, that this could be a big inning for Tennessee. Now they're up by 8, which is an important amount to be ahead by with the run rule, and you could tell they were just smelling blood in the water. Riley West gets to just roll through the money. They love to do that in the dugout with the mommy hat. Early in the count, she just sits on this changeup. She is clearly looking for it. It was off speed. She is sitting on that speed, looking to drive a pitch at about 50 miles an hour out of here. Riley West.
Number 78 on the season and number 2 on the game for Tennessee. This time it's Riley West knocking Alex Salter out of the game. 1 inning, 4 runs, and Lauren Essman is the 3rd tied pitcher in just 4 innings. And that ball's drilled by Donahue to center, and White will collide hard with the wall and make a terrific catch. That is the 2nd time Kristen White has faced the wall, and this time she wins the battle.
Almost an identical line drive out to her in center field that she tracked down. The first one went off of her glove. This time it goes into the glove, and she holds on to it even when she just smashes against the wall. Nice play by Kristen White, the freshman out there in center field.
Nice padding out there as well. Patrick Murphy yesterday was talking about the days of the old chain link fence that Caitlin Lowe would crash into. Good thing we don't have that anymore.
Yeah. Big time upgrade with the wall out there in the outfield.
Been a whole lot of upgrades at this absolutely beautiful facility. USA Softball Hall of Fame Stadium. Here's Brockenbrough, who homered in the third. That's into left center. That's going to stay in the park. Tennessee with 3 straight multi-run innings. Florida State, Oklahoma State after that. Then Washington, Utah, our second all-conference matchup of the day. New pitcher is Peyton Gottschall for Tennessee, which will win the game if it records 3 outs without allowing a run via the 8-run rule. And Gottschall gets her feet wet at the World Series, looking to continue what has been a marvelous year.
And I like this decision for so many reasons. I mean, I just keep thinking of them. And one is that Alabama is about to go 3rd time through the order. Prangy has seen the ball well. Johnson and Dowling off of Ashley Rogers, so give them a different look.
Ball.
But then you bring in Peyton Gottschall, who transferred from Bowling Green. A lot of experience there, but not this type of experience. You get her a chance to get her feet wet, to feel this field and this crowd and the World Series with an 8-run lead.
Off the end of the bat from Prangy, and she's thrown out by Donahue. Ashley Prangy retired for the first time today. Riley West's 3-run home run has put Tennessee in run rule position. And now Tennessee has its most runs in program history in a World Series game. They did it in a grand total of 4 innings. Patrick Murphy's right now talking to the third base umpire, Mike Burwell. Jenna Johnson is going to bat.
Ball.
Tennessee's going to need Peyton Gottschall if they want to make a run at the national championship. Not just Ashley Rogers. They're going to need Gottschall and Carlin Pickens as well.
Run.
Gottschall's had a phenomenal tournament. 17 scoreless innings in the NCAA tournament coming in. Pitched a shutout to send Tennessee to the World Series against Texas. Took a perfect game into the 5th, a no-hitter into the 6th in that regional winner. And it has been a major step up in competition from Ball State to Tennessee, but it hasn't looked like it's phased Peyton Gottschall at all.
Run.
Bowling Green to Tennessee, should say. Got the wrong MAC team in there.
I was so convinced in my head that it was Bowling Green, and then when you said that, I'm like, everything I knew just went out the window.
You got
okay.
it, you got it.
Okay.
Day one.
Yes,
Day one.
yeah.
Ball.
Apologies to the good people of Ball State and Bowling Green.
You're allowed a mistake every now and then, but in my mind, I'm like usually the one that makes them. So.
So you're on the hunt for him, is what you're saying?
No, not at all. Not at all.
3-2 from Gottschall. Right side Johnson. That's a fair ball and her second hit of the game. Jenna Johnson with a 2 for 3 day.
Yeah. I think Jenna Johnson just put the rest of the teams on alert not to throw her outside. Hitting that pitch well.
Haley Dowling will stand in. Alabama needing a run to extend the game to the bottom of the 5th.
Ball.
Just starts to feel like outs that you must have. This is a long week if you're in the tournament for a long time and if you continue to win, or if you lose and then continue to win. It makes for a long week. It's hot in Oklahoma City. You want to play as few innings as you possibly can. If you have a chance to run rule a team, you want to take it.
Alabama only run ruled once this season. April 2nd at Missouri, lost 11-3. Dowling pops up a strike. The loser of this game will have to play tomorrow. That was a formatting change made last year with the World Series extended, so the winning teams get an extra day of rest. Winner of this game gets the winner of Oklahoma-Stanford, the loser vice versa.
Ball.
And the winning teams will play Saturday afternoon. The losing teams will turn around tomorrow, and somebody's going to be 2 and out, or 2 and Q, as they say here in the softball world. Down the left field line, another one of those long foul balls for Bama.
You know the adrenaline is so high for Peyton Gottschall, and the nerves are so high. She said, all I used to do when I was in middle school is watch softball and watch the Women's College World Series. She remembers watching Tennessee and Florida, watching the greats like Kat Osterman and Monica Abbott and Jenny Finch.
Yeah, she told us that game came up in her memories from 5 years ago, her photo memories, watching Tennessee beat Florida. So that's pretty full circle for Peyton Gottschall, who was supposed to go to the University of Tennessee Martin. She was committed there. Said the coach retired literally her last day of school, senior year of high school. That ball by Dowling just over the glove of Donahue. Bailey Dowling aboard for the second time, and Alabama is trying to keep this game alive.
A couple of balls in this game just out of the reach of Mackenzie Donahue. You can see she was trying to time it up just perfectly. She's definitely not the tallest shortstop in the country, but gave it a try there to stretch as much as she could.
Though there are a couple of pivotal transfers that we'll talk about when we get into that second game, including Haley Lee from Texas A&M, Sid Sanders. A little bit of extra juice and joy injected in an Oklahoma team which is used to being here. Allie Shipman takes ball 1. RBI base hit in the third, put Bama on the board. It's part of a 2-run inning, cut the Tennessee lead to 4-2, and the Lady Vols answered immediately with a Breckenbrough homer in the third, then a 4-run fourth. Strike 2 to Shipman.
That's not been the issue to throw strikes in this game for Peyton Gottschall. It's just being able to find that put-away pitch. Both her hits that she's given up been on full counts, so two strike singles.
She was as good a put-away pitcher as there was in the country last season at Bowling Green. Struck out 374. 253 in a third innings. Ridiculous numbers. This season, more than a strikeout an inning at Tennessee. And she gets Shipman to foul another one away.
And she's so good with that curveball on both sides of the plate. She'll move the ball up with her rise ball. Very good spin that she creates, and through so much at Bowling Green. A lot of experience, those 542 innings pitched, and a 1.78 ERA there.
Another 1-2 and another foul ball from Shipman.
But how impressive is it? It says a lot about Peyton Gottschall that she came here and lowered her ERA, playing on a team in the SEC, playing top to bottom, better competition and a schedule. Because really, it just hasn't been all on her. That's what she was used to at Bowling Green, just throwing all those innings, a lot of pressure on her, a lot of fatigue.
Amanda, that's exactly right. Peyton talked to us about how she is pitching free here at Tennessee. That's been the difference, is that it's not all on her shoulders. She has a pitching staff behind her, but look, she's experienced too. So Karen Weekly told us there is nothing, no situation that she's afraid of.
Yeah, she talked about the pressure, Courtney, at Bowling Green, that she had to be perfect. But here, she doesn't feel like she has to be perfect because she has a great defense, scored a lot of runs.
Shipman on the ground is short. Donahue gets one. That will be all. Johnson, the potential game extending run, is at third as Tennessee is 1 out away from a run rule victory at the World Series.
Now batting shortstop number 31, Cahalan.
Cahalan,
Ball.
Alabama's last hope. Alabama has only been run ruled once at the Women's College World Series. 2011, they lost 16-2 to Florida. Tennessee has never won a run ruled game at the World Series. You look at the stats, this is clearly a better Tennessee team, but this rivalry is so intense. The games are typically so close as they were this year. Tennessee took 3 of 4, but won 7-6 in the SEC tournament. Looking to win game 1, and if you want to win the World Series, you better win game 1. In the air to left field, drifting back on it, West, and it's over her head. 1 run is in. Shipman around third will score the second. And the freshman Kenley Cahalan will keep this game going for Alabama with a 2-run double to make it 10-4.
Kenley Cahalan loves to just get right on top of the plate. Her toes are on the chalk. She's just ready for an outside pitch, and Peyton Gottschall just tries to paint the outside corner to her, and because she's right on top of the plate, that's just like hitting a pitch that ends up being right down the middle. Lets that pitch travel, drives it the other way, and takes off the run rule. Alabama answers back again in this game.
What a day for Cahalan, her first multi-hit game since April 23rd against Auburn. And now Emma Broadfoot. There goes Nicola Simpson out to the Tennessee bullpen. So the runs allowed by Gottschall, the first run she's allowed in the NCAA tournament, now in her 18th inning of work.
Yeah, it's an Alabama team too. In their last 8 games, they came in to this game hitting .235. We talked about it before, Kevin, but this is a Bama team that relies more on their pitching and defense. Haven't put up the big offensive numbers, but look pretty good offensively in this game. 4 runs on the board.
Slap to the right side, Gibson. So Bama gets 2. Tennessee is opening Thursday at the World Series. Tennessee needing 2 to run rule it. That will not help their cause. A bunt from Julia Koutsianopoulos right back to Lauren Essman in the circle. Koutsianopoulos now 0 for 3 after her hit in the second inning was ultimately ruled an error, so she is the only Tennessee player not to reach base safely, but she has scored a run. Every Lady Vol has scored a run except for Donahue, who does have a hit. Destiny Rodriguez with another sharp single.
Just no breaks in this Tennessee lineup today. Way Rodriguez is swinging the bat from the 8-hole. Taylor swinging the bat from the 9-hole. This is where, to me, it gets really hard with Rodriguez and her ability to get on base. Taylor, because then you turn it over to Malloy, Pooney, and Gibson and West.
That's 4 first pitch hits for Tennessee today, which will utilize a pinch runner. going to be Jackie Kirkpatrick into the game to run for Rodriguez.
Next ready for Tennessee, number 50, Jackie Kirkpatrick.
So, Katie Taylor represents the winning run. 3 home runs on the season. And Taylor is not going to win it. She will ground into a fielder's choice. 6-4, 2 down, and that'll bring Kiki Malloy to the plate.
Looking at her numbers, Kevin, and just the amount of walks that she's taken this year compared to years past, her slugging percentage being so much higher, home runs. I mean, the way that she's been able to level up her game that was already a good, strong game in years past has been the difference maker for going from an All-American player, one of the best in the SEC, to one of the best in the country with her home runs, stolen bases, her patience at the plate.
The nation's leading home run hitter with 25. And Malloy grounds one through the vacant left side. Base hit for Kiki Malloy is her first of the game. 2 on, 2 out. Winning runs are on base with Zeta Pooney coming up. They are absolutely relentless. Pooney a 2-run double back in the second. Five home runs in the NCAA tournament in her first 5 tournament games. Look at what Tennessee's done in these spots today. 5 for 6 runners in scoring position. Pooney, third base, knocked down and not picked cleanly by Prangy. Another defensive play that won't go as an error but could be made by Bama, and it loads up the bases for Boo Gibson.
A lot of plays just out of their reach. Has a chance to just step on third and then throw across the diamond, but because she mishandles it, not able to get any outs at all. That had so much top spin to it, just ended up spinning out of her glove and away from her.
Wow, it scored an error. It's the first time this year I've written down a hit and it's been scored an error, I think.
I actually had hit written down for that one too. It's a bit of a guessing game sometimes, you know.
We're going to stop guessing from now on. Facts only for the rest of this tournament. Here's Gibson. Winning run at second is Malloy as Gibson takes strike 1. And Tennessee needing 2 to walk it off and save the arms a couple of innings as its RBI leader at the plate. That's in the dirt, ball 2.
Well, and you know that they want to end the game right here. The bases loaded, 2 outs, still have an opportunity to go ahead by 8 runs here, and that would end the game. And that's what they're thinking about, especially with where they're at in their lineup.
Gibson left field. That is going to be caught by Cahalan. Kenley Cahalan does not want to go home. Pam, we'll see you in an inning or maybe an inning and a half. We'll see Tennessee nearly winning it via the run rule a couple of times. Kenley Cahalan a 2-run double and a great catch to rob Boo Gibson of a 2-run hit. So 10-4. Been a good day for the Alabama Bats. 4 runs in 5 innings against the second best pitching staff in the country. But Tennessee with 4 in the second, 2 in the third, and 4 in the fourth has well outpaced the Tide. Winner of this game will get tomorrow off. Play Saturday afternoon on ABC against the winner of Oklahoma-Stanford, which is coming up next. Strike to Callie Hevlin. 7-8-9 against Peyton Gottschall here in the 6th. If you're Patrick Murphy, even if Alabama doesn't win this game, he probably will like the quality of the at-bats, some of the best of their postseason.
Ball.
Just have to really clean up some defensive mistakes before tomorrow if they are to lose this game and play tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's what you're using this game for, to stay in the game and, of course, try to attempt to come back and win it. But just to get more at-bats, just to start to feel good here on this field and start to see the ball well. And all of those little things matter in a game like this, in a tournament like this. Make it as comfortable as you can. And Alabama's at-bats have looked confident.
And they're not a team with a ton of World Series experience, even though they were here 2 years ago. So many of their key players were not. Left side from Hevlin. Riley Weston, foul territory is there. Hevlin 0 for 3. Patrick Murphy's going to send up another pinch hitter here. Marley Giles, the backup catcher, will bat.
Pinch hitting for Alabama, number 13.
Giles in the spot of Larissa Pruitt here in the 6th inning. Maybe their catcher of the future, they think. She is their pinch hitter of the present.
Ball.
Alabama team that is only 94th in the country in runs per game, scoring just 3.6 a game in the NCAA tournament. Well, this is a Tennessee team, as we mentioned, that was a runner-up twice at the World Series, never won it. Runner-up in 2013, just saw Madison Shipman, part of that team. And Scott Shaw hits the pinch hitter Giles. When Tennessee was the runner-up in 2007, a big part of that team, one of the greatest pitchers in history, Monica Abbott, who is with Courtney right now.
Yeah, how cool, guys, to have a 2-time Olympic medalist in the stands. Monica Abbott here. What do you remember most about playing on this field at the World Series?
You know, I feel like when I played, I had a lot of nerves, especially at the start. Like your first time out there, your first game. I remember the crowd being loud and like lots of fans being really exciting. Honestly, the best playing surface and the best place to play softball, right? That's why it's the home of softball. Yeah.
When you watch this year's Tennessee team, what stood out to you that's allowed them to get to this point?
Honestly, I think that they're very well-rounded. They obviously have their stars like Kiki Malloy and Ashley Rogers, but they have a lot of really big unsung heroes and contributors, people that are showing up in big moments like Riley West, McKenna Gibson, even today, Katie Taylor. So they have different people throughout their lineup that are showing up and just kind of being the unsung hero for that game.
It's been really interesting to watch the evolution of softball. When you were playing at Tennessee, you were that main arm in the circle, and now Tennessee's got a true pitching staff. You see that on a lot of teams. What do you think about the evolution of that?
You know, I think it's so important to have a pitching staff and to celebrate what each pitcher is good at. You know, I was a flamethrower. Like, I threw hard. Ashley Rogers throws hard. And Peyton Gottschall, she moves the ball really well. Her spin is crazy good. So being able to have different pitchers to complement people, because as the game has evolved in the pitching circle, it's also evolved with the hitters, and they've gotten so much better. So you have to have a multiple pitching staff to be able to balance that out.
Monica, enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you.
Thank you.
All-time strikeout leader in Division I, Monica Abbott.
Previous play.
While that was happening, Tennessee is challenging the call of a hit by pitch.
I think maybe questioning where it hit her. If it hit off of her bat or where. I need some clarification on exactly what they were looking at here. Looked to me like she was trying to move away from it.
All right, let's chat with Christy Cornwell, our rules analyst. Christy, what do you see there?
Well, what they're looking for here is whether or not the ball was entirely in the batter's box and whether it hit her arm or the bat. They ruled that it hit the bat. From the angle that we saw, I don't know. It looked like it might have hit her arm.
That's interesting, Christy. Let's take one more look at this. We thought it hit the arm too.
Yeah, I thought it hit her wrist.
I'm with you. So it was called a foul ball, so Giles is sent back. Now, Christy, the call on the field is a hit by pitch, so what's the standard needed to overturn that?
They would need to have indisputable video evidence that she was either not hit or that it hit the bat.
In the air to left field from Giles, who apparently was not hit by a pitch, and then she hit a pitch. Well, that challenge didn't work out for Tennessee, now did it? Marley Giles launches the second home run of her freshman year, and it's 10-5.
These freshmen step up in this game on both sides. You just don't see this very often because it didn't seem like Giles should even be back in the box, but Gottschall was trying to throw her up and in this at bat. That's why she got hit by the pitch on her wrist, but she was called back and made the absolute most of her first at bat at the Women's College World Series. That barely stayed fair. Giles, the pinch hitter, the big swing, and Alabama really is swinging it well in this game today. 7 hits, 5 runs.
Her first home run since February 25th against Indiana State. Marley Giles coming through off the bench for Bama. What a bizarre sequence of events. And just to finish the point of what Christy was saying there, to have indisputable evidence to overturn that call, I don't know that that's what we saw, but it was overturned, and it's good news for Alabama that it was. So 10-5, and the pinch hitter here is Jordan Stevens. Stevens batting in the spot of Kristen White.
Yeah, and that home run, whenever Giles rounded third base, this is Coach Murphy and the third base coach's box saying, I'd rather have that. Not a hit by pitch, much rather a home run any day of the year.
I'm no math major, but that seems like a logical trade. Patrick Murphy in year 25 at Alabama, 14 of those 25 to the World Series. And tradition at the World Series, the family gets the softball after the home run. So that one's going to the Giles family. One of our favorite traditions here at the World Series. Mom, dad, whoever's in town for the player that hits the home run. Ball is retrieved from the outfield, brought to them. Stevens strikes out, and there are 2 down in the 6th.
This is why that last inning for Tennessee on defense was just so devastating for them. I mean, they had a chance to get out of here in 5 innings, just needed 3 outs, but instead Kenley Cahalan had other plans in mind. And then you're able to get more at-bats for your team, use more pinch hitters, get them experience in this situation, and it's been paying off for Alabama big.
Gone from just trying not to be run ruled to now trying to launch a late rally. They've got the hitters to try to do it with 2 outs. Ashley Prangy against Peyton Gottschall. 3 runs allowed by Gottschall, who had thrown 17 scoreless in the NCAA tournament. This is only the 2nd time in 28 games this year Peyton Gottschall has allowed more than 2 runs. Again, it feels like we have some version of that often at the World Series, where trends and norms throughout the season get flipped on their head due to the competition, and as you were talking about early, due to the unique pressure of this event. Tennessee still gets a day off if they win this, so they can still rest the staff for a day, but Alabama has made it a little bit harder. 2 strikes on the All-SEC Prangy. Pops one out of play.
Everybody clap your hands.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, Kevin, but the way that Alabama is just not striking out against one of the best pitching staffs in the country. 1 strikeout against Rogers, 1 strikeout against Gottschall.
A lot of 2-strike counts, too. This is the 17th 2-strike count, 28 batters, and they've only struck out twice.
And tough with 2, and Alabama on the year coming into this game just hitting 203 with 2 strikes. Seen numbers definitely higher than that, but stepping up today with 2 strikes, not making it easy for Tennessee and their pitchers.
Prangy takes ball 2. Good at-bats late in the game, whether you win or lose, are going to help because Alabama is either going to face Oklahoma or Stanford after this. So you go from one of the best pitching staffs in the nation to one of the best pitching staffs in the nation. 3-2 now to Ashley Prangy.
Yeah, just the who's of All-American pitchers at the World Series this year with the big-time names that people have followed for years, like Kat Sandercock, Kelly Maxwell, Montana Fouts, of course, for Alabama.
Have not seen her today. Alabama falling behind early. Into center from Prangy with some distance, but not quite enough. Kiki Malloy tracks it down, but Bama gets another one. Bottom of the 6th. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough, Courtney Lyle will be with you about a half hour after this game ends for number 1 Oklahoma and number 9 Stanford. And then our nightcap doubleheader. Our crew of Beth Mullins, Michelle Smith, Jessica Mendoza, and Holly Rowe will have number 3 Florida State, number 6 Oklahoma State in a tasty game, followed by Washington and Utah and a Pac-12 matchup. One of the great stories of this tournament, that Utah team, which has not been to the World Series in 29 years, which Amy Hogue has heard about 29,000 times in the last couple of months, but won the inaugural Pac-12 tournament. Didn't have to face UCLA, which was upset in its regionals, the 2 seed. And Utah beat San Diego State last weekend to make it back to OKC. There's a pop out from Riley West, who is 2 for 4.
How about this first day of games, too? Everybody has already played each other at some point this year. I don't feel like that happens very often.
Yeah, Oklahoma Stanford played the first week of the season. Oklahoma State, Florida State this year, and then 2 conference games. There is a lot of familiarity in this field. Sometimes you get a field filled with Cinderellas. Last year we had 3 unseeded teams. Year before that, of course, the amazing run of James Madison. We don't have that this year. If anybody's a quote-unquote Cinderella story, it'd still be Utah, which is a Pac-12 team. What we have is immense star power. We could have Nigeri Kennedy versus Jordy Ball. We could have Lexi Kilfoyle or Kelly Maxwell versus Catherine Sandercock in the game after that. There are some big-name pitchers. Bailey Klingler, All-American batter for Washington. In the nightcap, Mariah Lopez, All-American pitcher for Utah. Sometimes we do love the Cinderella stories, and we'll find some as this tournament goes along, whether teams or players. But the field itself, the teams and the players in it, this has a chance to be a really special week plus of softball.
It's what we always hope for. Well, and I think, too, just looking at the field, 5 of the 8 teams that are here didn't even make it to Super Regionals last year. Utah didn't make the tournament, and the other 4 teams didn't make it out of regionals to advance. So a lot of fun little stories.
Warren Essman's 2-2 is high. Only 2 teams repeating from the World Series last year. That's tied for the lowest number of returning teams ever. Only Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, who have both been to the World Series the last 4 seasons. And OU a little longer than that. Off the glove of Prangy. Cahalan not in time. Donahue is at first, and we'll wait and see how she officially got there, but she's at first. That scored an error, second against Prangy. 8th World Series appearance for Tennessee this season, and they are one of 4 teams in the field yet to have won the national championship. Oklahoma State, the most World Series appearances without a title. Tennessee tying Nebraska this season. 2 teams I know you like, Oklahoma State and Tennessee. Obviously OU is going to be an extraordinary mountain to climb, but you feel like this is a Tennessee team that could make its way to the Champ Series?
Yeah, they keep scoring like the way that they're scoring. I think that we know that Oklahoma is going to put runs on the board, no matter if it's in the first inning or a 7th inning comeback like we've seen them do this year against Texas and Oklahoma State and Clemson. So if Tennessee just continues to swing the bat like they are, try to out-hit them, try to score. They're going to score 7, you try to score 8.
Amanda, to that point, though, what does it take to beat the Oklahoma hitters? Does Tennessee's pitching staff, is that the key to have multiple arms?
You know, my opinion on this changes, I feel like, day by day based off of how each team is playing. And, you know, Tennessee's pitchers don't, to me, Court, look like they're being able to shut down hitters right now. And Gottschall pitched well at Super Regionals, but Ashley Rogers just looked like she was laboring a bit to me in Super Regionals. And I think that we saw that here today. So I just go back to the way that they can swing it and to continue to hit the long ball, hit for power off of Oklahoma, and to try to outscore them that way versus keeping their offense shut down.
We heard Karen Weekly say to Court a couple of innings ago that it was gutsy performance by Ashley Rogers. We don't have any specific injury information on Ashley Rogers. We don't know anything of that nature, but 4 innings, only the 1 strikeout. You mentioned it looked like she was laboring a little bit at Texas. It's reasonable to think in year 5, with previous injuries, she may not be 100% right now. Who is 100% right now, of course.
True. Very interested to see who gets the ball for Stanford to start. I mean, you just, off the cuff, you just immediately think Nigeri Kennedy would get the start, but maybe, I don't know, just maybe Alistair wants to go one time through with Vodder or down the zone with her drop ball and then throw a rise ball later in the game with Kennedy. Or just come out at the beginning of the game and you get the electric Kennedy rise ball right from the beginning.
Game's going to follow this one in about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game. Nigeri Kennedy leading the nation in ERA. The National Freshman of the Year. Elena Vodder was an All-American. And one of them will have the chance to tackle an Oklahoma team that has won a record 48 consecutive games and is trying to be the second team ever to win back-to-back-to-back national titles. It's a long at bat here for Jamison Brockenbrough. 8 pitches deep and no result.
Remember, she hit that home run earlier this game. She went down and got it.
This one's into left, and Johnson is there on the 9th pitch of the at bat. Brockenbrough 1 for 4. How advanced is this team's offensive approach under Chris Malvo?
Yeah, I think that they've taken steps forward the past couple of years under his tutelage. They look confident. They're having more quality at bats. You can see that in the numbers. The balls that they're putting in play are hit harder, so they're hitting for a higher average with the balls that are put in play.
It's short from Koutsianopoulos. That's the 6th. 3 outs to get for Tennessee against the top of the tide order. Coming up.
mistakes against them. I feel like that's the thing that we've said since February, and even said about playing against them last year. You can't make mistakes on defense. When you make a mistake, and whether that's you walk them or you commit an error or give them an extra 60 feet, they just bust open the door against you and can score quickly.
They are beatable, and we're down to their final strike twice against Clemson on Saturday. Got 2 strike hits from Haley Lee and a tying home run from Kinsey Hansen. Won the game in extras. They have won 48 in a row. They will get one of these 2 teams. Winner of this game against the winner of that game, and the losers will face off against each other as well. Peyton Gottschall looking to close it out. Jenna Johnson leading off the 7th. And Johnson puts another ball in the air the other way and flies out to Taylor. Well, if you want to shut down the #1 offense in the country, helps to have the #1 ERA in the country, and that's what we might see with the freshman Nigeri Kennedy, who could get the ball for Stanford.
Yeah, Nigeri Kennedy has only given up 1 home run all year. Opponents hitting 138 off of her. This could be a special matchup if we do indeed get it. Oklahoma with 112 home runs on the year. They lead the country.
And I know it sounds insane that we're saying, well, maybe Nigeri Kennedy will throw because their ERA's negative, essentially. They do have an All-American in Elena Vaughter, so you're right. Maybe Stanford goes with Vaughter, brings Kennedy in after. We think they'll probably go with Kennedy. But we'll all find out soon enough.
Just a different strategy, because what you see, Kevin, this year is that people try to throw surprises at Oklahoma left and right with who they're starting, when they're bringing them in, throwing a different pitcher each inning against them. Everybody has tried to do everything to beat Oklahoma and quiet their offense. So that's why you kind of lean that way. Like maybe Vaughter would get the start because everybody just tries to mix it up against him.
That game coming soon. For now, Gottschall and Tennessee trying to close out Bama. 2-2 for Bailey Dowling in the 3 spot. An explosive offensive start to the tournament. Tennessee 1 out away from a run rule win. Bama's clawed back with 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th to extend this game the full 7 innings.
I have a feeling that tonight's game might look a little bit like this, with the familiarity that both teams have against each other, with Utah playing Washington, the amount of times that these pitchers have faced these hitters and these hitters have seen these pitchers.
Yeah, they just played in the Pac-12 tournament a couple of weeks ago. Utah won that game and went on to win the whole darn thing.
Is not seeing a lot of strikeouts, because at this point you know what the pitcher has. You've seen her multiple times. You know your timing, what her spin looks like. Just about mistakes.
Poked off the end of the bat and grabbed by Rodriguez. And the Tennessee Lady Vols are 1 out away from their first World Series win in 10 years. There are the Stanford Cardinal, making their way to Hall of Fame Stadium, hoping to shock the nation. Allie Shipman to third. Zeta Pooney is there, and Tennessee wins at the World Series for the first time in a decade. It took a little bit longer than they would have liked, but 10-5 will do for the highest scoring game in Tennessee's World